What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised.
All of us look at an actor's life, and the only thing we see are the red carpets, the funny interviews, and the glamorous lifestyle. But today, we will look at why Lili Reinhart didn't have the glorious lifestyle we now see. If you want to see what the dark side of an actor's success looks like, then keep on watching, because here are the 10 Lili Reinhart roles you never knew about. Let's dive right into it, shall we? Number 10. Surviving Jack. We're going to be starting off this list with a TV series that came out 7 years ago. You see, Surviving Jack is all about a middle-aged man learning to be a father to 2 teenagers, and he's strict. Like, really strict. When you ask him for advice on dating, she tells you that she's probably not the only one, because 50% of marriages end in divorce. Okay, now we know he doesn't really believe in love. Anyways, speaking of Lili Reinhart, she plays one of the popular girls in the high school that Frankie, Jack's son, is in love with. Her name is Heather Blumeyer, and we see why he would be falling head over heels for this girl. Yes, even at just 18, Lili looked like a real babe. On the show, she had a recurring role for 6 episodes, but unfortunately, the show only had a single season. We don't really understand why they canceled it, as fans gave it a rating of 8.3 on IMDb.
Did you want to see my room?
Why? What's in your room? Yeah, I want to see your room.
I hate this stupid shirt.
I think it's cute.
Number 9. Miss Stevens. Just 1 year before the release date of Riverdale, Lili Reinhart appeared in Miss Stevens. The movie is about an awkward English teacher who agrees to take a group of 3 teenage actors to a drama competition. And boy, was there a lot of things going on in this movie. First of all, you have Billy falling in love with Miss Stevens, and then you have Miss Stevens sleeping with a married teacher. And finally, we saw her break down and tell the students that she's having a rough year after her mom's passing. Lili Reinhart was amazing, as always, but there was something else we were stoked about. Remember Billy? Does he look familiar to you? That's right, Lili Reinhart and Timothée Chalamet are actually friends. They starred in the same movie. How cool is that?
Do you mind if I ask how old you are? Sam thinks you're 26, but I think you're older. Not because you look older, you just seem older.
Number 8. The First Hope. Man, we've seen a lot of bad movies in our day, and this one is pretty far up there. I mean, after this kid watches Leia kissing Luke in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, he starts smashing that like button, just like you should do if you haven't already. But no, he starts having all sorts of feelings for, get this, his sister. Karen, aka Lili Reinhart, doesn't pay too much attention to her little brother, but he can't stop thinking about her. Yup. As the short film went on, Karen was heartbroken when she saw one of the boys she had a crush on kissing another girl. As she cried under the shower, this little dweeb wouldn't leave her door. And just as she was getting a can of Coke from the fridge, he snuck up on her with a phone book. Why is the phone book important? Because that's the same book this little guy used to climb up and kiss his sister on the lips. Number 7. The Most Girl Part of You. The movie is called Not Waving, but Drowning, and is made up of 2 parts. The first one is called The Most Girl Part of You, and this one has Lili Reinhart in it, while the second one is Not Waving, but Drowning, but more on that later. In this short film, we get to see Big Guy, a teenager whose mom hung herself, and now he's trying to cope with the loss. His father is estranged, and he's only worried about the Cubs. Even when Big Guy told him about the passing of his mother, he just said, "And what's more, the Cubs lost." It's a gut-wrenching 15 minutes, but in the end you realize that there's still something sweet about their weird relationship. A modern twist on the classic story about growing up and realizing that your world has changed dramatically.
Then it's also the truth that your life rushes forth when you're ready to start to truly be alive.
Number 6. Not Waving, but Drowning. You see, the second one talks about how a girl by the name of Adele wants to move to NYC. She's tired of the little town she grew up in and wants to live the life of her dreams in the city of her dreams. But there's a catch. She has her best friend Sarah, who doesn't want to go with her, so they end up parting ways and parting stories. The first one, Adele, doesn't know from which side she can bite down on the Big Apple, And the other, Sarah, thinks that her friend is actually living a glamorous and luxurious life in NYC. This couldn't be farther from the truth. Still, they both learn to live with their new realities.
People put too much emphasis on escaping.
You're right.
I am.
Number 5. Kings of Summer. It started off as a growing up story, but it ended as a story of a friendship being torn apart because of a girl. Patrick and Joe were both interested in the same girl, and no, it wasn't Lili Reinhart. You see, back in 2013, she wasn't so popular, so she took on a minor role. Lili actually played one of Kelly's BFFs. They were invited to visit the treehouse of these boys built to liberate them from the rules of their parents. And yes, Joe had a crush on Kelly, but she fell in love with Patrick. As for Lili, her character fell in love with Biagio, played by Moses Arias, the weird kid that is really skilled at building things. Plus, our star only had a few lines throughout the movie.
Biagio, what do you do?
I met a dog the other day that taught me how to die.
Number 4. Scientastic. Just as the name suggests, this show is all about science. It's an educational TV show with kids that are in middle school. Even though it only had 2 episodes, this show talked about everything from science to health and even pressing social issues. But it did so in a way that would be inviting to young kids. Lili Reinhart played a character called Leia, who was a sports fan and wanted to uncover all of the mysteries of the world around her. And yes, she answered all of these questions while singing, dancing, and even rapping about them. A little cringy, but sweet nonetheless.
Searching for the answer to be revealed, 'cause I knew deep down inside her beaver's bone would heal.
Number 3. Forever's End. We didn't know what this movie was about, but as soon as we read the short summary, we realized that this movie is epic. It's an apocalyptic psychological thriller with only a few actors. The first one is Charity Farrell in the role of Sarah, and the second one is Lili Reinhart in the role of Lili. Remember how they say your life flashes before your eyes when you're dying? Well, this one is the opposite of that. It shows you how you begin to hallucinate at the time of your death, relating different people of your life to bizarre situations. Number 2. Gibsonburg. This has got to be the cutest movie that Lili Reinhart was ever a part of. It tells the story of a young teenage boy that dreams of becoming a professional baseball player, and his underdog team that wins the state championship with a losing record. And yes, it has some of the cutest scenes with Lili Reinhart as Kathy Colliner, the girl Louis Bonfante's character, Andy Gruner, is in love with. I mean, just look at how they chase each other in the yard, and then Andy picks her up in his arms. And then it happened. The moment we've been waiting for so long. The kiss finally happens as they sat on the bridge overlooking the lake. Number 1. Law and Order Special Victims Unit. That's right, folks. Back in 2011, Lili Reinhart managed to land a minor role on Law and Order Special Victims Unit for 1 episode. They called it The Lost Traveler, and there, Lili plays the popular mean girl in the school called Courtney. She was sort of the antithesis of another character called Emma, the shy and kind girl that is compassionate with everyone. She is cold, calm, and collected, ready to tackle any problem that comes her way. She was a real alpha on that show. On a related note, do you know what the doctors diagnosed Lili Reinhart with at the age of 14? It's not cancer. You can tell us in the comments section below. If you'd like to see more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.